does not raise issues. And it's a question of what we do about it once the issues have been raised. What actions we take. And the responsibility lies in different directions. From the administrators who have to play their part, to all the law enforcement agencies who have to play our part. Therefore, firstly, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Auditor General's Department, headed by my good friend Mr. Abdulaziz, for a professional job done. What this audit report shows is what we have always been saying it should be. An auditor should not be a broad term. An auditor is supposed to provide professional opinions guided by various principles, but most importantly, to understand that we are dealing with human beings and not robots. And when you are dealing with human beings, you have to be capable of listening to their explanations, affording them opportunity to provide evidence, and to understand and reason with them where necessary. However, if the explanations they give or they support the information they provide, or they do not provide information at all, as an auditor, your responsibility is to present it as fairly as possible. Therefore, I want to commend the leadership of Mr. Abdulaziz and his team of auditors at the Audit Service Sierra Leone for an excellent job done in their presentation of the issues and the opinion provided. As partners, we value our relationship and will continue to work with them as we improve on audit reporting, but also actions taken on audit reports. I also wish to extend our appreciation of the Parliament of Sierra Leone, who similarly have the primary authority over audit reports. Their BAC is mandated to do its work, and over the years we have been collaborating with them, and they have been doing very well in following up on audit issues, but also collaborating with us to ensure that we, as the primary responsible institution for fighting corruption in Sierra Leone, through their own delegation, because the work of the ACC is a delegation that came from Parliament, we too have a role to play, so that the picture is not provided that nothing is done when audit reports are out. So whatever we are doing here today will be in full collaboration with the Parliament of Sierra Leone, who recognize the authority as the principal institution responsible for audit issues, and will collaborate with them to ensure that neither their power or authority is undermined whilst we do our job. This year's audit report, like all other audit reports, presents a clean picture of how institutions are dealing with public resources. The issues are almost the same for almost all of the reports that have come. What we see is that, judging by what we have done on other Auditor General's reports that have come out in 2018, 19, 2020, and now 2021, most of the issues emanate from administrative lapses. People who are responsible for running institutions, who are supposed to supervise their staff to ensure that certain information are provided to auditors, are either failing in their responsibility to do so, or they are not sufficiently supervising to ensure that things are done. Therefore, as always, I would encourage heads of institutions, ministries, departments, and agencies, but also nationally, the country itself, for us to take our destinies more seriously. For us to understand that when an audit report comes out and raises the same issues year in, year out, it appears that the administrators are not holding their staff accountable. But almost as importantly, they are not even holding themselves accountable. So if, for example, at the Anti-Corruption Commission, auditors raise queries, always, the ACC is audited every year, both internally and externally. These auditors are very methodical in their work. They notify you that we are coming to audit. They tell you when they are coming in. When they are in, you provide the space for them to do their work. They identify issues that they have found out based on the files and documents your various staff present to them, from HR issues to procurement issues to finance issues, even to administrative issues. You are afforded an opportunity to respond. Sometimes they put it in writing, but before the audit ends, they put it in the writing and send it to you. And they request an exit meeting. In that exit meeting, you sit with the auditors, you go through the issues one by one. We did not see vouchers or payment documents for payment of so. You explain and say yes, the vouchers are missing. But the payment was made through bank transfer. Here is the bank transfer confirmation. And the auditors will take note and they will eliminate the issues that we find out are properly explained, or most importantly, they qualify that there is no loss to the state, there is no loss to government. And they go back. They then send you an official communication detailing the outstanding issues. So say issue number 1. You have not provided good explanation for this. You have not provided good explanation for this. Please provide a response in writing. That document is received, how do we call it, auditors? A management letter. Then you, the leader of the institution, meet with your staff, go over the issues. You meet with your staff, and when you meet with your staff, you provide a written response to the auditor detailing the issue. As I have told you, the auditors are human. They will again go through those issues. It's only the ones that you have not provided sufficient explanation for that they will now include in your Auditor General's report. If this process has been followed, and still we have the kind of report that I have before me, it means either there is a disconnect in the administration of Sierra Leone by various administrative authorities, ministers, heads of agencies and departments, heads of institutions, or there is a problem of supervision somewhere. Because some of the things I have seen in this report, for example, cannot happen at the ACC. You cannot be a finance director and you pay salaries and you withhold taxes from those salaries, or you cut NACIT from the staff salaries. The various contributions, 10% by the employer, 5% from the staff money. And it takes 1 year. That money has not been received by the institution. it will be a miracle for you to remain in your position as finance director. You cannot be a HR person, and certain things we are seeing in your general report are there, but you remain in your position as HR director. You cannot be a procurement specialist where you are recruited, you provided your qualifications. Now you understand procurement, you understand the rules, you know how things are done, you understand the various thresholds, and then procurement happens, and the auditors are saying the procurement is not proper. Year in, year out, and in your position. As a country, we have to be a little bit more serious with our own destinies. As public officers, we have to be a little bit more serious with our responsibilities. We have to hold ourselves accountable, and we have to hold people accountable. Therefore, with this being said, because of the failure of administrative responsibilities at various levels, we have an estimated loss by the auditors, for councils alone of 5.6 billion in 14 councils in 7. And those councils are for local district councils, 2.3 billion, Cambia District Council, 1.4 billion, Tongolini District Council, 1 billion, Freetown City Council, 394 million, Makeni City Council, 96 million, and it goes down in descending order to Kailao, Moyamba, Kwenadugu, and all these institutions. The ACC has identified the issues. This year we have deviated from the practice of simply saying prevention and investigation. Certain issues are so straightforward that they do not require delays. So some issues have been identified as quick fix. Quick fix. Quick fix in the sense there is one person or two people who should provide explanations on those issues, and we believe that simply speaking to them, the answer should either be provided or they should be held accountable. Therefore, those people are going to be invited at the ACC, and they are expected to provide an explanation as fast as possible. Either the same day or you provide the answer within 2 days. So, for all district council, motorbikes for the solid waste management unit were not delivered. It's a quick fix issue. Somebody can easily answer why it was not delivered and where it is. For our district council, fair loss totaling 2.8 billion was not properly accounted for. Those issues are going to be dealt with or investigated. Another quick fix issue which we are not going to waste time in this audit report are tax issues. So, for example, in Palabar District Council, there are issues of non-payment of withholding taxes. And this appears not just for district councils, ministries, departments, and agencies. If you owe withholding tax, it means you pay salary and tax. Just pay it to NI. If it has not been paid since 2021 to date, there is one person who is responsible for it. And that one person is the person responsible for paying salaries or for withholding tax. It is easy for us to identify that person. And we are going to move in very quickly. As I speak to you, various arrests were made across Freetown today on this issue. And just before I came here, we already have people bringing checks to our office. The Ministry of Information also The issue identified for them, the man was brought in today, he brought the check and asked him to pay the check and bring the receipt from NIA by Friday. The same thing for enemy. The same thing for various institutions. Some of them are going to speak with after this press conference. They are quick fix, we are not going to this time. But there are various councils which I will not go over all of them. Freetown City Council, payment made but work not done. Totally 57 million. Somebody has to answer for it. It's a quick fix issue. We are not going to waste time. The same thing for Benadugu District Council, Karine, Kambia, many councils. The issues are many. We cannot waste your time by going through all of them. But what we can tell you is that there are more quick fix issues in the Auditor General's report with respect to council than there are those that require more elaborate investigation. And I have said, we are not going to waste time. If the head of an institution does not hold their finance director accountable, there are two explanations. Either the head of that institution is complicit with that finance director, and that is why he is not holding it accountable. Or who will hold the finance director accountable, and the finance director will tell us whether it is the boss who asked him to do the things he has done. Another category in the audit report 2021 is tax liability issues. 14 tax liability issues were identified, totaling 560 billion 204 million euros. Sierra Leone Airport Authority, Sierra Leone Postal Services, Sierra Leone Transport Corporation were giving loans totaling 15 billion, but they have failed to start making any payment as per the agreement. These loans are taken from the ministry, from the Bank of Sierra Leone, the Commercial Bank of Sierra Leone, and they are supposed to be repaid. So we are going to meet with Audit Service Sierra Leone to understand what happened, and then we can take steps to fix them. The same thing. Tax liabilities without evidence of payment of GST, various institutions have been identified, and we are going to meet with Audit Service to understand how these issues arose so that the payments can be recovered quickly. This 560 billion is money that can be used for development purposes. But somebody is holding to them somewhere, or somebody is not doing enough to recover them. Then another category which we have identified in the audit report is revenue generating category. Number of targeted institutions is 18 institutions. The amount involved is 65 billion plus $132,000. So these are institutions that are supposed to be generating revenue for the state, but for some reason there are issues with that revenue, and they include cash losses due to unpaid levies, non-payment of PAYE, payments without supporting documents, unbanked revenue, which is another very serious category. People have been recovering revenue in various institutions. There is evidence that they recovered it, but they were not banked. It means you did not take it to the bank for it to reflect the consolidated revenue form. And there are various institutions. These institutions include the Ministry of Fisheries, $1.3 billion, the Ministry of Land and Housing and Country Planning, $3 billion from 2020. The Ministry of Lands again, 1.7 billion. The Ministry of Lands again, 220 million. The Ministry of Lands, 2.4 billion. the Ministry of Water Resources, various amounts, the Ministry of Water Resources again, various amounts, the Administrator and Registrar General, 73 billion, Bank of Sierra Leone, Sierra Leone Port Authority, Sierra Leone Road Transport Corporation, Sierra Leone Road Transport Corporation, Civil Aviation Authority, NRA, EDSA, Gumavali Water Company, NACIT, National Minerals Agency, Petroleum Directorate, Produce Monitoring Board, Sierra Leone Road Authority, and Universal Access Development Fund. Some of them we have said are quick fix issues. I've already told you that some of them are already with us. We have already started providing answers. What we cannot understand is why when the auditors come, these people cannot give them the answers, but when we call them, they come with a check. As I speak with you, I was just in a meeting with them in my office. They came with checks, with clear plausible explanations, assuring that the checks will be paid tomorrow morning. By Friday, we will have a receipt from the institution that is supposed to give them. But why did you not give it to the auditors again? These are the issues that we have to deal with. And this estimated loss of 65 billion, we are going to make sure that it is substantially reduced by quick fix action by our investigators. Diplomatic missions. One thing that has been evident in all major audit reports of diplomatic missions is that diplomatic missions have been running as if they are not part of the Republic of Sierra Leone. So they do not follow finance processes and procedures. They collect revenue, payments for visas and other things. They use it in their respective places without going through the necessary authorizations. And therefore, in this 2021 Auditor General's report, there is an estimated cash loss of $3.5 million and $183,000, $184,000 euros, and £752,000 respectively. And these losses, the embassy in Washington accounts for $2.9 billion, $2,985,000. The permanent mission of the UN is estimated at $359,000. South Korea, $178,000. Germany, $124,000. Brussels, $59,000. UK, $751,000, etc., etc. We are encouraging these institutions to give an explanation as to why these issues have been picked up year in, year out by auditors, and there does not seem to be much improvement. There is a general category which is an estimated general cash loss to the government due to issues like procurement. These issues are called in each category of their own. So whatever loss we are estimating in this general category does not include unbanked resources or diplomatic missions or revenue generating institutions. Generally, there is $116,238,000 plus $338,000 lost generally by institutions. And these institutions include ministries, departments and agencies, the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, 49 billion, Ministry of Defense, 25 billion, Ministry of Transport and Aviation, 10 billion, the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, 5.4 billion, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, 4.7 billion, and also the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, 4.2 billion, Ministry of Social Welfare, 1.9 billion, Agriculture, 1.9 billion, and other institutions, including the National
the provincial missions, other ministries like Ministry of Youth Affairs, National Disaster Management Agency, Freetown Wash and Aquatic, Revamping Environment Project, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Political Affairs, Ministry of Tourism, and other institutions like the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources. Some of these institutions have more when you look at the body. Some of them are named. It's very little amount. For example, you will have an institution like the MPPA where it's just 75 million, which I'm sure you can ask them to provide an explanation to you. The Parliamentary Service Committee, 84 million. But when you contrast it to like the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, is as high as 49 billion. These are issues we are going to look at, and our team has identified most of them as quick fix issues. That means there's somebody sitting down in one of these offices who should provide a straightforward answer. And if that person does not provide a straightforward answer, the full force of the law will be used against them, including detention. Including detention. There are also other miscellaneous categories like the security partners, which amounts to 35.4 billion. I have already started notifying them, asking them, for example, there is one for the Misuse, the Central Intelligence Agency, which when I called them, they immediately checked and they got back to me to say the person who is accountable for that audit issue, certain amount has been deducted from their salary over a period of time and they should have completed payment by now, but they will get back to me by tomorrow with answers. Basically, we don't want to waste too much time on this. The issues in the audit report, like I've said, most of them are failures of leadership. Leadership of people in various stages. A HR officer who is not doing his own work. A finance director who probably does not even know what to do, and therefore cannot even determine what is good to be done, what should not be done. An auditor who sits in one office who is not auditing properly or is not allowed to audit properly. But above all, an overall boss who is in that institution and his or her staff are not doing what has to be done, so that proper accountability is given to the auditors when they come. The question I have been asking myself, and I've asked the people, is this: why are those people not held accountable? Why should they remain in their offices? I have said and I repeat again, we have to be a little bit more serious with our destinies as we are living. When an auditor general report comes out this way and presents a grim picture as though everything we are doing is not taking effect, it's an indictment on all of us. We have to be responsible to take and hold those responsible for sparing all of us for their actions. If you are a finance director, do your job. If you are employed as a procurement officer, the least you can do for the salaries you get, for all the benefits of your office, is to do your job. If you are a head of institution, getting a good salary, pay all kinds of allowances, and of course, you enjoy things like a beautiful car that takes you to work every day and brings you back home, including the fear that you do not have to lie. It is bought by the state. The least you can do is to do your job. And if we, the administrators, really do our jobs according to how we should do it in this institution, I am 350 staff. It has over 8 directors. It has managers. It has 6 regional offices. And all of them go through the same administrative processes as any office in the country. And they are audited. And I see the same queries that I know led to these things. But what I can tell you is this. When those audit theories reach my table, I call the director responsible and say, there is an audit query here that says that we did not pay our taxes for the month of February. Please make sure you give an explanation for it by tomorrow morning. Or better still, bring evidence to my table that you have paid. It is the auditors who have mistaken. Now, a finance director who cannot do one of those 2 things I have just said cannot remain the finance director of ACC. And that, I believe, is the case for every other government institution. If we hold ourselves, if you think that I, Commissioner Kaifara, am the one who made you not to pay the taxes, come back to me and say, Commissioner Kaifara did not sign the documents that should make me pay the taxes. But if we do not take our destinies more seriously as a country, by those in leadership holding those who work with them accountable, but also those who are working with leaders to manage them up, to remind them that we have not paid our taxes, we have not cleared our HR issues. These issues are going to continue to come in audit reports, and we'll be reversing the gains that we are making as a country. We have a president who is very committed to accountability issues, who wants to see, as he promised in a manifesto, that the loopholes are closed. And takes it very seriously. Whenever I have had a conversation with him on these issues, he tells me, then make sure people do what they have. Don't leave them to be comfortable. If we have that kind of president that wants to see this country's transparency and accountability space to work well, and he has empowered institutions like the ACC, the Audit Service, and the NPPA, and all these other institutions to do their jobs. Those who have been appointed in various offices to do their job must do their jobs. And it is because some of them are failing to do their jobs that we are having this. And that is why, when we have invited people in the past, the staff of the ACC will go to our office to invite a particular staff, and the head of the institution will take a phone and call me to say, oh, no, you should have written a letter to me, or oh, no, you should have notified us. Oh no, this is not the way to do things. Let everybody do their own jobs. If you have since 2020 to 2021 to do your job so that the Auditor General does not provide such a report of your institution, when we ACC go to do our job, to invite the staff to come and explain, please do not call me to ask questions. I am now giving a universal notice to everybody in Sierra Leone. Let everybody do their job. And if you did not do your job, and that is why we and the ACC have been called in to do our own job, do not ask me questions. Provide answers. I thank you all very much.
Yes, I guess all of you have heard from the commissioner now. It's time to turn the microphone to you, but we have to do it very orderly. Very orderly. One mic is moving around. Yes, somebody's hand is up there. So you are the institution you are representing, please.
I used to work in Congress. I have a few questions here. Firstly, over the years, ACC has been undertaking or has undertaken some review of some institutions. Which we provided recommendations with a view that some of the issues identified in audit report will not repeat itself. As head of the ACC, is it that because these issues are repeating, these issues are coming up again, is it that the ACC did not work well, or is it that those institutions have somehow shelved, they use the recommendations you put forward for their adoption? And secondly, in the course of 2022, several performance audit reports did come out. Two I will mention here. One, performance audit on the management of issues produced by the Ministry of Issues. And the other one is a performance audit on the implementation of the government's equality education program. I don't know whether the ACC has any intention to look at those reports comparatively in line with the 2021 audit findings, so as to make sense of the holistic losses we've encountered in those institutions and to bring those responsible to book. The issue about loans again, I want to point this, Mr. Commissioner. If you go back to the 2020 reports, the commercial bank, selling commercial bank, gave out loans to politically exposed persons and other businessmen who the audit described as insolvent persons. Interestingly, or rather intriguingly, Mr. Commissioner, they approved a loan of about 10 billion for a certain contractor, a businessman. Within the course of a year, they sat down again and said, reviewed the loan and concluded that that loan was a bad debt. They waived off about 3 billion of that loan. It's in the 2020 report. I've been following the serialized report on actions taken by the commissions in those reports. I observed that the ACC hasn't concluded conclusively on those reports, and now we have 2021 again at your desk, looking at the capacity of the institution, the number of staff you have, whether this will be an overburden, serious burden for you and the commission to fully undertake the task which you are so honored for. And lastly, Mr. Commissioner, I also want to draw your attention, because these are all issues, these are all audit findings. I want to draw your attention again to a recent report published in December by the Global Fund International, where the Integrated Health Public Administration Unit is indicted to have undertaken certain procurement activities that do not fall in line with the requirement, the standards set by the procurement laws. It's leading to huge losses. I want to know whether the Commission is also interested in that, because when you go to the Global Fund website, the report there about signing is embarrassing. Thank you.
Yes, but then I just want to warn that we are going out of time, and when the question you want to ask been already asked, please don't repeat it so that we can finish up time.
No, he has 4 questions. Let me answer them at once. These are straightforward. He's asking what happened to the review recommendations. The challenge we have is very tied to your last question. We do these recommendations, we give it to them, we monitor, we follow. However, our manpower base cannot be always following up with the same institutions all the time. So, sometimes probably this is a 2021 audit report, maybe it concerns NRA. Probably we did a review of NRA in 2022. So the issues that are in this audit report predate the review that we did. And sometimes, and even most times, it is when we are doing the reviews that these institutions identify the reasons why those issues are appearing in the audit report, and we make recommendations for them to fix them. So I am not giving you a definite answer, but I am telling you these things happen. Sometimes the audit report does not cover a period over which we want to review and vice versa. But what I can say is that our reviews have been producing very good results for various institutions, and it's just a question of certain things like tax collection, banking revenue. These are recurring issues. You can review and tell the bank that when you collect money, make sure it is banked in 24 hours. And then you go back to your normal work. And then it does not bank it in 24 hours. And then the auditor does it. That is why at that stage it is no longer a part of the bank advice to say this is what you are doing. You are invited brutally to go to the ACC. Sit down for 5 hours and explain why you did not bank. And I can assure you it is not a quick side. So it's a carrot and stick approach. We provide a carrot a lot of times, but now what we are talking about here is the stick. You talked about the performance audit. This is our book and person, Mr. Issa Kanu here. Mr. Issa Kanu is the lead person for audit issues in the investigation department. And I have just reminded him to make sure when you said that what the Auditor General's report is cross-reference to those various performance audits that we are done, which he just assured me yes, they are already doing that. You asked about insolvencies and loans and things like that. Banking can be a very complex situation, and we do not wish to direct banks how they prepare the books. However, if the declaration of a particular loan or classification of it as written up, you write it up, for example, we will check to see whether there are corrupt elements leading to that decision. If there are no corrupt elements, it's just a normal banking activity, then we do not have a role to play, because that is how things work. Global Fund, you speak to a lot of people have been asking questions about Global Fund. I remember when this report came out sometime last year, December, it was all over social media. But the ACC has already investigated this issue and provided a full detailed report to Global Fund and every other person. And even in that report that came out in December, they put it there that the ACC has already reviewed this issue and we are working with them to make sure that it was done. But I saw a journalist like Thomas Dixon writing all kinds of things on Facebook. Firstly, it means it is not even in the report. Because it is clearly in the report that the ACC has done X, Y, Z, and we are working with them to do X, Y, Z. Then why are you calling on ACC again? It's really relevant. I also saw another lawyer, Basita Michael, writing all kinds of things on social media. But it's the same thing. Did she really read the report? We have to understand that the ACC tries as best as possible to do what it has to do to ensure a fair accountability space for Sierra Leone. You have seen how proactive we have been over the years, particularly when donor funds are misused. The donor fund investigation was done thoroughly. We spent enormous national resources to go after the people who were responsible for it. We provided a report. We have recovered over 500 million on that investigation. And the report is available. And the report is available to Mobile. The report is available to the Ministry of Finance. The report is available to the Minister of Health. The Minister of Health and I have various conversations on this issue. And of course, the institutions that are responsible, like the institution responsible for tuberculosis, the other places, their staff were asked to pay back, and they have paid some of them. Some of them have been dismissed. So if people use the opportunity that a report has come out, they do not even read the report, and they are ready to say that the ACC has not done something about it, I am sorry. The ACC thoroughly reviewed this issue before December 2022, and the report is there. If any journalist wants to understand or have specific details of that investigation, just contact our public education people or come to the commission who made it available. So those are the issues you raised, and I'm sure I have done my best to answer them. But if you have any follow-up questions, feel free to engage me after this press conference, and we'll give you more details. Thank you very much.
Mr. Johnson is the name from AYU. Is the ACC surprised that the office of the President, Vice President, First Lady cannot mention or capture the audit report? And the second one is, what is the status of your investigation of last year's report, specifically on your Vice President? And finally, what is your relationship with Parliament, specifically the Public Accounts Committee? Public Accounts Committee.
Yes, that lady there. Yes, the lady.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tasha from Education Microsoft newspaper. We see the anti-corruption each time going to court with issues, spending their time, energy, and funds. But most of these cases are thrown out of court because of simple procedural issues. My question is, what is the anti-corruption doing to change this trajectory?
Give us an example of a case which was
Leone Maritime.
Leone Maritime was
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll answer. Okay,
Just one more. We have the 5 minutes.
I'm trying to ask two times. I can still remember when the president said corruption begins to fight back, which is very much critical from that statement. My question is that how prepared are you when it comes to dealing with all the issues that you have on your table now? For example, I can still remember the drama of the former president. The layman will think differently when it comes to approaching corruption, especially when it comes to your ACC. You will take it to be which not. You will take it to be different all the way around. But now, different sectors, different people, they want to know how prepared are you for you to be faultless when it comes to your approach, especially when it comes to institutions that have to be connected to your position. For example, you measure the ACC, the FCC, International Council, which is very big, and the leader there, the head there, is headed by an official member, which is So my question now is, how prepared are you when it comes to handling discussion? Also, thank you.
All right, okay. The Commissioner is going to respond to these questions.
The question of the gentleman there is whether I am surprised that the presidency, the vice presidency, and the office of the first lady is excluded. The Auditor General's Department is an independent institution, and it's a body containing some of the highest concentration of professionals. We do not question how they go about the audit. What they present to us is what we act on. So if they have excluded any particular office, it means they did not see the thing or the people included. That does not mean that the jurisdiction of the ACC does not include those institutions. Our jurisdiction over corruption is universal. But if it's not in the audit report and we are discussing the Auditor General's report, then it simply is not there. It's because those who have the professional responsibility to do so have taken that maybe it was not included in this year's audit, it will be included in next year's audit, or that there are no issues there whatsoever to present. Another question which came is how we have dealt with last year's audit. The gentleman from Victor Post made reference to serialized reports that we put out. Everything we do on this report is on our website, www.anticorruption.gov.sf. If you go there, you see our work in respect of Auditor General's Department, the recoveries that we have made. As I speak with you now, we have over 8.5 billion euros to give to the government. As recoveries done from people in the current government, including audit issues. That presentation is going to be done later this year. So a lot is being done, but I advise you to go to www.anticorruption.com and view it. Another question which came from the lady was cost. She says that anti-corruption does a lot of work and sends cases to court and they are thrown out on technicalities. First of all, I'm not aware of any case sent by the ACC that has been thrown out on technicalities in the past 4 years. The case she made reference to is the SFMA case. It was tried fully. It went to court, trials were done. The court reviewed the matter and the judge did not find the person in charge guilty. We are prosecutors, we are not prosecutors. If a judge says that somebody is not guilty, our role is now to review the judgment and to see whether we have to appeal against it. But it was not thrown out on technicality. It was thrown out on the ground that the judge thought that the person was not guilty. Even though we felt that was guilty. That is not technicality. Technicality is, for example, if we come to court and the judge says, before the trial even starts, the judge throws the case out. But this is a case that lasted 2 years. Witnesses were called. We went to as far as Supreme Court on objections in that matter, came back to the High Court, and then the judge ruled in favor of the defendants. It's just the fact of life. You do not win them all the time. And we as the ACC understand this. But our work in fighting corruption is not just about going to court. That is why I have told you we hold people accountable here. And we are doing so very strongly. Another question is in respect of preparation of our cases, and he mentioned certain other people. The ACC, we cannot say that we have unlimited capacity. We certainly are constrained in terms of capacity and resources. But what we have done in the past 5 years that I have been commissioner is to ensure that we give it our very best. To ensure that we do what we have to do with the resources and personnel we have and optimize for the benefit of everyone. And that is what we will continue doing even with this Auditor General's report. The issues are many. I have shown you this graph. First of all, if you see a press conference being held today, the 4th of January, on Auditor General's report that came out around December, it tells you that we did not have Christmas at all. And all these analyses you are seeing, I am not giving you all the details, even the issues that we are raising, even the page on which it appears. For example, the issue that has to do with the Administrator and Inspector General's office is on page 169 of the Auditor General's report, paragraph 2.64.1. We are not detailed in what we have done. When resources are managed well, when people are committed to their responsibility, like the hard working staff we have at the ACC, I can assure you, numbers will not matter. We will continue to produce results. So we are prepared, and you are making reference of people who say it's witch hunt, people who say opposition, people who say ruling party. At the ACC, we do not have ruling party or opposition. At the ACC, we do not care where a person came from. Look to the evidence and facts and do our job as professionals in the interest of the youth. So it does not matter whether the Christian City Council is headed by an opposition parties there. Similarly, it does not matter whether the Ministry of Agriculture is headed by somebody appointed by the current president. If the facts and evidence are there, I'm sure those very people support accountability and they support us in our work. And that is why we are continuing to do our job fairly, openly, and clearly without fear of favor. And that is why we are continuing to ask you all to support us as journalists. You play a very important role. What you write in your newspaper, what you analyze on TV, what you analyze on radio, what you present on social media has a good way of either supporting our work or damaging it. But it's always good for you to understand which side are you on. One thing I can assure you is that we are on the side of good. And we are not afraid. That's why we are not afraid of shooting. People ask me, you are the only commissioner who put everything out there. I say yes because I have nothing to hide and we have nothing to hide. If you even have something against me, bring it forward. Let's have a conversation about it. And that is why the fight against corruption is fair, is clear, is open, and is producing results. Thank you very much. Last round of questions.
Yes, yes, at all. At all. Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Auditor, Manager Editor of the National Newspaper. This one has nothing to do with audit report, but it has something to do with anti-corruption. We have reached the period of tug of war in Sierra Leone, that is the political era. What is anti-corruption doing in terms of misuse of government properties, like vehicles, fuel, and other things during the period of politics? Politicians like the incumbent, opposition members will be using those vehicles to go to political areas. With the anti-corruption people worse and taking actions against these people, or what is the next step?
Commissioner, you have made recovery billions of euros. Years back, I asked a question concerning Genius about special foreign reports. So I want to know about that special foreign report. Maybe I send a copy or whether it's an institution. Then also you mentioned about when doing audits. Then when the auditors go to this MPs, they do not present them. But when you call them, they present some documents. I want to know actually the audit department does not have any law that is not present anything that we can take into account, or just this when it's already presented from the minister.
All right, just one last person. You are the most fortunate one for the last one.
Thank you for that. I want to ask the commissioner why always waiting for women's situation. Because for the past years, you have been fighting corruption cases. We expect of the opposition sit in their comfort zone. Don't you think that other people are there at various offices want to work with some of your actions that when they involve in corruption, they will set calendar to pay the money and set free. In other countries like Ghana, there are stringent laws, measures, government put in place. When you have found one thing in corruption, you will pay the money and pay another punishment. Penalties are there. You go to prison. When it's little players who are not taking the fight of corruption very seriously. Thank you.
All right, okay. So those are the last questions to raise up at Okay.
All right. Thank you all for your questions, and I appreciate that we are interactive on these issues. It's good to see my dear friend Arthur. He's asking about misuse of people. We are going to set a special task force for that, to monitor what is happening with government resources, particularly during the electionary periods, to ensure that there is no abuse. But I can tell you it's a very difficult one to do, because you see a minister sitting in his vehicle going towards Calabata. Are you going to stop it to say towards Calabata because the rally is happening in Calabata? These are the circumstances and the challenges we have. And sometimes the members of the public will see these things and they say, ACC is not doing anything. But ACC is not doing in Calabata today. ACC does not even know whether there's a rally going on in Calabata. So the ACC should stop a minister from going to Calabata. When the ACC does not even know that there's a rally happening in Calabata, but you will be seeing them on social media. You citizens have a role to play when it comes to these things. Your role is to make sure you put these things out. You hold them accountable in your newspapers. And sometimes where necessary, we can also come in to take action. Another friend, Dauda, who I have not seen for a very long time, I don't know why he has listened for me. Now is asking about the special audit. The special audit will put out extensive public notices serialized on the action that we are taking on them. Please go back to them on our website, www.anticorruption.com. Look under our press releases. Go back to 2018 and 29. You will see them there, and you will see clearly what we did or what we did not do. And the other question from Laura was, why are documents not presented to auditors? Our answer is simple. Auditors are not like ACC. They do not have powers of arrest. They merely go to an office and ask where are documents. If you do not provide them the right down where are the documents. But when this ACC invites you, there is a very likelihood that you are not going to sleep by your wife that day. Or your children are not going to see you. And that is something we do, not because we are wicked, but it is our job. So if you give us an opportunity to ensure that you do not sleep by your wife that day, it will be good when you go out, you put your wife down and say, Madam, I did not come home because auditors came 1 year ago for documents and I did not give them to them. Mr. Benkampala was barely doing his job. The ACC staff was barely doing their job. The people at ACC are not wicked people at all. In fact, they are very good people. You should explain that to your wife and your children. It will make our work easier. Because I have sat down in place and a woman walks up to me and says, hello, Mr. Benkampala, how are you? I said, yes, madam, how are you doing too? I am the wife of Mr. So you arrested 1 year ago. I just came to tell you that. And sometimes I ask myself, did he really explain to madam why he was arrested? So madam does not think that Mr. Benkampala is a wicked man. People should start explaining these things to their wives and children. But auditors do not have that power. And therefore, people take them for granted. But we at the ACC have an MOU with Audit Service to give them things. So if you do not take them seriously, we find a way for you to take yourself seriously. And that's why we are holding this press conference, to bring out the attention of everybody who have issues concerning the Auditor General's Report 2025. That the ACC is going to take them seriously, that the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament is going to take them seriously, that the President of Sierra Leone is going to take them seriously, and we are going to keep all of them support to make sure that you also take them seriously. Thank you very much. I think that is all we have for today. Let's continue the engagement, and you can always contact us to ask questions where you have. I'll hand you over to the coordinator of operations of the ACC for closing courses.
Thank you very much for doing that. As the commissioner has said, our doors are always open. We are the commission that works for the people of Sierra Leone, and doors are always open. You can always contact our public education department if there are any issues that you want to clarify or that you want to know about the Anti-Corruption Commission and its work in Sierra Leone. Thank you very much. Let's continue the engagement because we are partners, having our fingers in the same way, fighting corruption in Sierra Leone. Happy New Year. Thank you.